as we start, let our bodies remember we come from a woman who told the truth in front of Congress with a bullet still in her stomach, a sharecropper, a singer, a fire starter. This is your inheritance. This walk is not for performance. This walk is a reckoning. So let's feel our feet beneath the dirt. What does it feel like to take up space, to say I am here? Now loosen your fist. Place your hand on your gut. This is where Fannie's power came from. Call it in. What injustice are you carrying in your chest? What lie have you agreed to just get by? Whisper it to the wind, then say out loud, no more. I deserve to be free. I am allowed to tell the truth. Let the spirit of Fannie walk beside you today. Let her bravery steady your breath. She made the whole nation listen, and you are her daughter. Carry that same fire step by step today. Speak the truth, even if your voice shakes, even if it costs you. Freedom is not won through silence. It is won by women who dare to say what they know.
Oh, thank you, Vanessa. Welcome to Self-Care School, y'all. It's day one, week one. It is our first class in history, y'all, and you are here witnessing it. You are one in a million. Wherever you are, whoever you are, know this, you are welcome here. We are Girl Trek. We are a million Black women strong. We are walking by you. You never walk alone. Y'all, listen. We are cheering for you every step. You got this. Start to lace up your sneakers and start to go on your front porch with us. We are going to get started. We call that our front porch meditation. So every day when you log on, put your sneakers on, open your front doors, come onto your front porch and listen to a four-mother meditation. Now I invite you to step into your driveway and we are going to tell you about the topic of today, y'all. Y'all, before we do this, I want to let you know there is a disclaimer here. Please consult your doctor. We are not doctors. Vanessa and I are one chapter ahead. Listen, we're one chapter ahead just trying to learn how to save our own lives because we are on a mission leading Girl Trek to increase the life expectancy of Black women all across America, eventually all across the world, y'all, by 10 years in 10 years. And so we are doing this to save our own lives. We are learning right along with you like Betty and Celie, y'all. So please consult your doctor every single show with everything you heard. This is how this is going to be structured. We are going to learn 100 life-saving skills over the next 10 weeks together. Every day, we're going to learn 2 skills that could save your life or the lives of people you love. Today, we start with 2 skills. Y'all, did you know that heart disease was the #1 killer of Black women? If you did orientation with Vanessa and I, Vanessa, did you have a good time on orientation?
I had an amazing time, and I'm showed up for week 1, which is amazing, y'all, because I used to be the queen of skipping class.
Listen, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to all the class skippers. Listen, in orientation, we told a story about 10 Black women who were sitting on a church pew. And we told the story that one of them would have high cholesterol, 5 of them would be clinically obese, 8 of them would be over a healthy body weight. Y'all, what we didn't tell you is that over the course of their lifetime, 1 of them would have a stroke. And 5 of them would have a heart attack. Heart attacks is the #1 killer of Black women. 50,000 Black women die every day from heart disease, which is largely preventable. Y'all, if we can save lives here today, I pray to God that we do. Some of you saw our TED Talk where we said that heart disease is like an airplane filled with Black women every single day crashing to the ground and nobody's talking about it. Well, we are going to talk about it here today. So today you're going to learn 2 skills. You're going to learn how to detect if you're having a heart attack or stroke, and you're going to learn how to measure and monitor your heart rate so that you can just really manage your heart. All right, y'all? So that's what we're going to learn today. Before we start, let's see how you're doing. Get out on that driveway. We're going to do a driveway audit. All right, a driveway audit. 5 questions to see how you do in this topic. Number 1, if you are, stand wherever you are on your driveway, roll your shoulders back, put your chest up like, what'd you say with Fannie Lou Hamer? But let your chest unfurl and then touch your stomach. Right. She was saying some good stuff up in there. Rewind, y'all. That was good. All right. You're standing there. All right, we're going to take a step forward. If right now you feel well rested, take a step forward. well rested. If you're tired, stay where you are. Take a step forward if you ate a heart-healthy dinner last night with fruit and vegetables, or with vegetables and grains. Take a step back if you had a cigarette yesterday. Take a step back if you felt stress before you got out of bed. Maybe you checked your phone, maybe your kids. You felt stress before you got out of the bed. Take a step back. Now I want everyone to take a step forward because you are outside exercising, and we're going to get started with our walk today. I just wanted you to embody what this is. Those are all factors in having a heart disease: stress, sleep, what you eat, if you smoke or not, how much alcohol you drink. All of these things are factors, whether you go and get preventive care, whether you know your LDH cholesterol, whether you know your blood pressure. All of these things are risk factors and ways to prevent heart disease, all right? We're gonna learn a little bit more, but before that, I want you to start walking, y'all. The most powerful thing you can do, the single most powerful thing you can do to improve your health is to walk 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. It is proven. So no more standing in your driveway, lace up your sneakers. I want you to pick a direction to walk 15 minutes in that direction. We will play a chime or something in the middle, and we will invite you to turn around and come back. That's it. You can start your day after that. This is Self-Care School, y'all.
All right, Morgan, that audit was so good. We've heard from so many people who love the audit and orientation, so I'm so glad we're going to be having them every day. And I'm ready to learn my skill, and I'm ready to bring in our homegirl, because last week the streets were talking. They were so excited that we were going to have homegirls with us every single day to teach the lessons. And on Monday Masterclass Mondays, y'all, we told you we're bringing in our trainer, we're bringing in our truth teller, we're bringing in our girl Renata. Are you on the line, Renata? Because we got to get to it.
Hey, yep, I'm here on the line. What's up, Morgan? What's up, Vanessa?
Hey, Renata.
Hey, how y'all feeling today?
Very good.
You ready to take your
It's kind of
notes?
hot,
Take
but
your
I'm
notes.
good.
Take your notes.
It's probably cold where y'all are.
I'm in Georgia. It's trying. It's like 70 one day. It's trying.
Listen, we'll take it. We'll take it. Listen, Renata, this is a really serious conversation, and I know that you are studied up, girl. How do you know if you are having a heart attack? Let's dispel some of these myths. How do you know if you're having a heart attack?
So, the Surgeon General and the American Heart Association has listed some of the signs and symptoms of having a heart attack, and some of that can make you feel like tight chest pain. You can have sudden shortness of breath, dizziness, nausea. But for Black women, we might manifest those symptoms a little differently. And sometimes we're going to feel those pains in our back, like right along where your bra strap connects in the back, your jaw or your arms. And with your jaw, sometimes it's hard to really tell, because if you're holding your jaw and holding it in tension, you might just be used to that space being kind of sore and feeling like that. But those are some of the ways that it manifests in your body.
So I don't know that much about this topic. What is heart disease? Like, what does it mean?
Good, I'm glad you asked, because that's a term that we hear all the time, right? We hear about heart disease, we hear the statistics about how many Black women have it and everything, but what is it? So it's when your heart and your blood vessels get damaged, and it makes it hard for the blood to flow properly. And then that can lead to heart attacks or other serious problems. And if you have high blood pressure, if you are obese, if you are physically inactive, you smoke, or you have diabetes, all of those make heart disease even worse.
All right. So if you're talking to somebody's auntie out there, are you talking even to our daughters so that they can know and monitor their own hearts or whatever? Like, tell me one more time. What am I looking for? My chest is tight. My bra strap is tight.
You know when you have your where you clasp your bra in the back. That is usually where it will manifest in women. It's different for men and women. But especially for Black women, the signs and symptoms are just a little bit different. So you might not get that classic chest pain or tightness, but you might feel it in your back, your jaw, or even in your arms. You can also experience a shortness of breath or sudden cold sweats.
Now, what about stroke? How do you know if you're having a stroke?
So first of all, a stroke is when your blood stops flowing to your brain. And that's either because of a clot or a burst blood vessel. So without the blood, your brain cells are going to start dying really quickly, and that can cause serious damage or even death if we don't move quickly. And so moving quickly leads me to FAST, which are some of the signs of a stroke. So think about an
Take a
acronym,
note,
FAST,
fast.
F-A-S-T. So F is your face drooping. If all of a sudden you notice that one side of your face, or the person you might be speaking to, if you notice that their face is drooping or if it feels numb. A is arm weakness. So one arm might not move or it might start to feel weak suddenly out of nowhere. S is for speech problems. So if your speech starts to slur
Take your
or it's just
notes.
strained and slowed down, that could be a symptom or a sign. T is for time, and that means time to call 911. Every second counts, and so each second that you delay getting help increases the likelihood of not surviving the stroke. And the other signs that you may be having a stroke can be sudden confusion, vision problems, or a severe headache that just comes out of nowhere.
Okay, so what if you think you're having a stroke, but you might just be stressed out? What should you do?
Call 911. Still go and see. You might just be stressed out, but you could be having a stroke. And if you wait, it might not be the outcome that we hope for. I'd rather you be safe than be sorry.
Thank you for that so much, Renata.
F-A-S-T.
Now, my
F-A-S-T.
last question for you is, if you are having a stroke, is there anything you can do that could help you, like during the stroke, or like, yes, call 911 is what we have heard loud and clear. Like, even if you think you have a stroke or a heart attack, to call 911. But if you're having a heart attack, what are the things that you can do?
Okay, so if you're having a heart attack, if you think that you yourself are having a heart attack, you can call 911 immediately. But something else that you can do that's practical is that you can chew aspirin. If you're not allergic to it, or if it does not interfere with other medications that you are taking, I suggest having aspirin on hand because it thins the blood. And we talked about how blood flow to the brain, blood flow to the heart, all of that is affected. So chewing that aspirin thins out the blood and will slow down that process and gives you time to get emergency services and response. You should also just rest and stay calm. So you should sit down if you're able to and loosen your clothing. But it's crazy that we're talking about this because I woke up this morning and a friend had posted something on Facebook, and it was, how do you help yourself if you're having a heart attack? How do you survive if you're by yourself, right? They say you only have about 10 seconds before you might lose consciousness. And if you cough repeatedly, very strongly, those deep breaths is going to give oxygen to your lungs, and that movement is going to boost your heart and your blood circulation. So if you don't have aspirin and there's no one there with you, try your best to cough and cough as hard as you can.
Thank you so much, Renata. And I just really, it was so good.
That's gonna save somebody's life right there. Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all got it?
And that's what we're here to do, right?
Thank you so much, Renata. I just really appreciate it. That was such a good lesson. I believe it's going to save lives, and can't wait to see you next Monday.
All right, sis. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.
All right, bye.
That was good, Morgan.
Y'all, listen, I highly it was good. It was good, Vanessa. I highly recommend, if you have not been certified in CPR, that's another way that you can save lives. If someone has lost consciousnusness and you can keep the blood flow going with chest compressions, I'm not going to pretend to give that to you here, but go to the American Red Cross or go to your local healthcare provider, look it up online and see where they are teaching CPR. All right, sisters, we're right around 15 minutes. So if you walked out and you got to go back to work, y'all, we are your sister's keeper. Go ahead and turn around and head back home. All right, Vanessa, we got one skill down for self-care school. How you feeling, girl?
Skill two.
I feel good. I feel informed. I feel like that was a bite-sized lesson that is so practical for so many women, and they're gonna definitely take it with them. So make sure y'all sound off. Y'all sound off at myselfcareschool.com.
Let us know where you
sound
are
off on social
chiming
media
in
if that
from.
skill was helpful for you.
All right, next up, listen, 1 out of 100 skills. If you stick with us, y'all about to be frontline soldiers out here. Y'all about to be skilled up with Self-Care School. Tell a friend to tell a friend. That is the call to action every day to join us here, where just women all over the planet are going to be walking, talking, solving problems together, and figuring out the ways that we can live our healthiest, most fulfilled lives. All right, y'all, you don't have no school without no recess. Vanessa, what was your favorite game to play in recess?
Foursquare.
Put your favorite recess
Oh,
game
good.
in the chat.
But Vanessa, didn't you tell me you got bullied when you was playing Foursquare? I remember this story.
I did get bullied. I got slapped 6 times in the face by a bully because I wouldn't get my space up in line. But I stood my ground, y'all, and it helped make me the woman who I am today. I just want to let you know.
Well, listen, there ain't no bullies in Girl Chat because we practice our core values that are called radical welcome. And I hope that girl who bullied you is on this line. Like, I think I used to know that little girl.
I hope she got some healing. I hope she did.
Well, if she did it, she's going to get it through these 10 weeks, Vanessa. All right, y'all. If you are like me, recess is your favorite part of class. So we're about to start recess. And what we're going to do for this recess is we are going to walk. And we're going to walk to live African drums for about 60 seconds. And what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you're going heel to toe, rolling your feet. Make sure your shoulders are rolled back, that you're up, your chest is open, that your arms are bent, that you're pumping your arms, and really walk your personal best. I do
And if
want
you're
you to be
not
safe
walking
out there.
outside,
This
you
is
can
your
do it where
first
you are.
time
Do it where you
exercising
are.
in a long time. You might need to walk slower than the beat. If
You
you
ready to
feel
walk?
like running and you're an athlete, then go ahead and run. I mean, like, I want you to learn to listen to your body. All right. For most of us, you can walk to the beat. And one of the ways that we start to monitor our heart rate, and monitoring your heart rate can be very technical, where you might need a device like your Apple Watch or any kind of fitness tracking device. And then it can be not technical at all, but very effective. There's something called a talk test. And a talk test is when you are walking, if you can talk comfortably, then you're maybe in a range where you could speed it up a little bit, right? The talk test is an indicator on how fast your heart is beating. If you can talk comfortably, then you were just kind of at a normal heart rate. If you are exercising and you want to talk, but you're like, oh, girl, so then what happened? And then what happened? Then that means you're kind of getting in the zone where you are in a fitness zone and you are really, really kind of burning calories and getting all the health benefits of an elevated heart rate.
So
all right?
And all
the cardiovascular state of an elevated heart rate. So if you are walking really fast and you want to talk to your friend and you feel like you cannot catch your breath enough, or you cannot just get your voice out to talk, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. So if you want to talk and you can't really find the strength to talk, or the voice to talk, or the wind to talk, you need to slow down. So that is called the talk test. That's another skill you can use. The third skill you can use is really taking your heart rate. And I'll tell you how to do that in a second. In order to get our hearts beating fast so that we can really get a strong pulse, we are going to walk to some live African drums.
Get ready to get up and walk. You can walk in place.
All right.
You can walk in place. Walk where you are. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute, you can walk where you are. Walk where you are. Even if you're not outside. If you're outside, you should be hitting the pavement. Keep it going. Seconds, that's it. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do when you're at home, right where you are.
Woo! Some
60 seconds. 60 seconds.
I hope you was pumping your arms and walking, y'all. That was so much fun.
Listen, it was.
So before I talk too much, I want you to put your fingers, two of your index and your middle finger, either on your wrist and find a pulse on the vein and artery, or the vein or artery on your wrist. Clearly not a doctor. And then up on your neck, and see if you can find a pulse. Wrist, it's called a radial pulse, and on your neck, it's a carotid pulse.
Here's my clock.
All right, can you feel it? All right, I got mine. Now we're going to be silent for 15 seconds, and I'm going to invite you to count for 15 seconds how many beats. I'll tell you when to start, okay? How many beats you can count. And just remember your number. Ready? We're going to start now. That was 15 seconds. What was your number, Vanessa?
I think it was 18. Sometimes it was like a reverb, so I wasn't sure what.
What's your number? I got 15.
I think it was 18.
I got 15. What's your number?
If it was 18, then you times that times 4.
Okay.
Whatever your number is, times it times 4. You might got to get out a calculator.
Literally, because I was like, definitely.
What's y'all numbers? Put your numbers in the chat. I got 15.
72 for me, Morgan.
That's 72. Okay, that's great. That's great. If you're out walking and you were walking to the beat, it might be 80, it might be 85, it might be 100, it might be 110, it might be 130, it might be
Y'all
140.
cheating. Did y'all do it? Did you do
Whatever
it?
number you got, multiply it times 4.
Multiply your number times 4.
All right, so what is your heart rate? It's the number of times your heart beats in 1 minute. That's why we're multiplying it times 4, because we only did 15 seconds. So we need 60 seconds. We multiply it
Y'all out
times
there
4.
cheating. Let us know when you
So your
chiming
heart rate
in
is the
from.
number of times your heart beats in 1 minute. Your resting heart rate should be between 60 and 100 beats per minute. And that's for most adults. If you're an athlete, your resting heart rate can be as low as 40 to 60 beats per minute. And children typically have higher resting heart rates. But when you are exercising, it really should be elevated. Now, depending on your age, there is a range for optimal exercise heart rates, right? So look up online and find your optimal heart rate for your exercise cardiovascular zone. But there's one number I want you to know, and this is the skill that I really want you to pay attention
This is
to.
skill
It's
too.
going to save lives. There's a number, 220. 220 minus your age is your maximum heart rate, okay? So if you are 40 years old, 220 minus 40 is 180. Your heart rate should never go over 180 if you're 40 years old. So that is your maximum heart rate. So we just want you in today's lesson to
That's
pay
skill number 2.
attention to the pitter patter of your own heart. All right, y'all? Again, we're not doctors, we're learning along with you, but ain't nobody never told me this stuff. We figured we gonna try, we'll go out there, we'll take a risk, but please consult your doctor before you do anything. Do your own research, y'all. Hey, V, how you feeling about today's show? Anything else you wanna add?
I'm feeling really good, Morgan, and that was such good information. Those 2 skills that we learned were really amazing. Fast, I did not know about fast, and also how to calculate my own heart rate. I did not know that, so thank you, Renata, for teaching the skills, and thank you, Morgan, for recess. And I think this is a perfect opportunity now, Morgan, for us to do a solidarity spotlight. Y'all, we are really blessed with this platform and with this community, and we were thinking, how could we actually be in solidarity with the Black businesses and the brands that we genuinely really love? And we decided to give them some free space and some free shine. They don't even know that we're doing this, but every single day of the 10 weeks of self-care school, we're going to uplift a new brand. And today, Morgan, I thought we could uplift Black and Green. Black and Green is a one-stop shop for clean, non-toxic, dope products created by a Black
Black and
woman.
Green.
So from hair oils to toothpaste, this is the place you go when you want to glow up and know that your coins are circulating in the community in a way that actually doesn't harm your body. So shout out to Black and Green. If y'all are already using them, put another sister on and at them and let them know that we shouted them out in this episode.
That's so fantastic, Vanessa. All right, y'all.
Got it?
We've been talking about heart health, and I remember, Vanessa, when I was doing the research for this episode, there was a statistic that I was going to use for the audit in the beginning that was about thinking about if anybody in your family had died of heart disease. And you responded so strongly against that. And just tell the people what you were talking about. I want to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, because the statistics say a lot of us, our family history, right? That it's an inevitability based on the numbers. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't necessarily factor in the fact that like the women before us were so stressed and what the context and circumstances of. So yes, heart disease runs in my family, and so does heartbreak, and so does sadness, and so does stress, and so does all these things. And I think if we could disrupt those things, then we disrupt the heart disease itself.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that heart disease is actually heartbreak. And that like somatically and spiritually and emotionally and psychically, that your heart just be exhausted. You know what I mean? And then it has physical ramifications. It's hard to have CPR for V.
It's hard to have CPR for, and science is catching up to a lot of powerful understanding. The heart is the largest brain in our body. It's more of our brain than our actual brain. So
It
even
runs in a
if
lot
once
of
we start
families,
to really
guys.
deep dive and understand even how energy flows, even how information flows into our body, we first learn and understand through our heart, and then our heart sends the signal to our brain. So it's really, really deep when we think about it that way. And then when we think about that, historically we haven't had tools to process all of that information that's coming through our heart, all of those feelings, all of those emotions, all of that everything.
Yeah, and so when I think about somebody like Fannie Lou Hamer, who you started with, thank you for that meditation. Fannie Lou Hamer had heartbreak long before she had a heart attack. Like when she was sterilized, you know what I mean, forcibly by the state, or when her house was shot at by racists in the Jim Crow South. Stress, and then just the sadness when you see injustice still all around you, is like is hard to quantify. It's hard to quantify. But what we know for sure is that there are ways to prevent the actual breaking of your heart. And we're going to talk about it over these next 10 weeks, y'all. We're going to talk about having healthy families. We're going to talk about having a healthy mind. We're going to talk about your gut, which is another like big like factor in your health. Your heart is one brain, your gut is another brain.
The gut is the other brain.
We're going to talk about healthy eating. We're going to talk about power. We're going to talk about self-defense. All of these things, if we can get some of these things right, then it will all come back to making sure that half of those Black women on the pew do not die from heart disease, y'all.
Right.
This is a life-saving mission that we're on. We are an army rising up for love. This is the surest measure of justice, how long we get to live, how happy we get to be. Y'all, we are reclaiming the streets of Black neighborhoods. Put on your superhero blue, open your front door, and let's get after it. We got 10 weeks to go. This is day one, week one of Self-Care School. I'm so excited to have you. Well, all right, y'all. It's been 30 minutes of walking. We have a tradition in Girl Trek called the Victory Bridge, and when we're here virtually walking with you, there's no way we can hold our hands over you, but we're going to shower you with gratitude as you end. Congratulations on day one, sister. We're so proud of you. Thank you so much for today's walk. We'll talk to you all soon. We're going to leave you with some words that we hope that inspire you from the Broadway actress who we just lost recently, named Viney Burrows, about where our source of strength lies. Y'all, this road ain't nothing to the road we've already traveled. So we got this.
We got
Like
this.
the song of my ancestors, before my own eyes, I am emerging and changing, still giving it my all, still offering my heart in a song. Will you listen? Will you sing with me? Can we celebrate life? All
Thank you for sharing
there
the
is
live,
of
Jennifer.
it as we move along. In our song, we will remember the depths, the despair, as well as the joy in our hearts. We will listen to the music of our ancestors, the song that inspires us, and feel their strength in the rhythm. Their song is ever expanding, a cacophony of sounds that lifts us up, guides us. Can you hear it? The melody is all around us,
Thank you.
and the rhythm It is a heartbeat. The essence of the rhythm propels us forward. The rhythm is in all things. The beat is in the depths of our being. The act of getting past the obstacles immediately before us become a ritual dance. The song is choreographed by faith and hope. The lyric of the song is simple. Let go.
Mm-hmm.
Trust in God. Keep moving. Let go. Trust in God.
Keep moving.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. Woo, child. And that was a lot. I hope y'all were taking note. That was some good stuff. That was some good stuff. So the voices you were hearing, first of all, let me backtrack. Is night, where is here? Ish Ben Elena, where are you? Where is night? But if you're just joining, welcome in. I got my talkers and my tubers. This is the self-care suite. We meet on Sundays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm Coach Robin Renee. I will be your hostess in the self-care suite. This is where we come to kick off our shoes, relax our feet. We share sustainable, low cost or no cost, useful self-care strategies, because our financial challenges should not prevent us from taking care of ourselves every day. So there are some things that we will exchange as far as self-care ideas that won't cost a thing. Some are low cost. Now, if you want to go out, all out, treat yourself. It's such helpful information. I mean, that was a lot. That's why I was up here taking notes. So I'm gonna see who was paying attention. So that's what we're doing here in the self-care suite. So what we're doing over these next 10 weeks is we're listening to Girl Trek's self-care school. Self-care school is like midway, are we week 6? Something like that. But don't stress. Wherever we are in the actual self-care school, I still want to tap into what's occurring during the weeks while we're here. So ours will extend past Juneteenth, but the big celebration for Girl Trek, and it's virtual. Well, some are in person and some are virtual, so you won't have to miss the celebration. But it's Juneteenth, and that will be week 10 because it started in April, end of March or beginning of April. But in self-care school, it's 10 weeks of learning how to save your life. 2 skills for each episode of the podcast. So it's 10 in a week, and then over 10 weeks, you will have 100 life-saving skills by the end of self-care school. So that is why I am encouraging people, don't skip a day. Even if you're just starting here listening, we're at week 1, go back to week 0. Go back to week 0 to do the orientation and then catch up. It's designed for you to be able to walk and listen to that podcast for 30 minutes. And there, wherever you find your podcast, is there. And it's my self-care school. Okay, thank you, Glamalicious. Is myselfcareschool.org. So go there, register, put your email in. It's free to join, but you're going to learn some priceless information about self-care and about saving your own life. Now, Girl Trek is an organization. It is a movement. It is the largest global health movement for Black women and girls. It was started by 2 friends, which is Morgan and Vanessa, and those are the voices that you just heard on that podcast. They were just sick and tired of seeing, the young women in their families passing away from preventable diseases, preventable chronic conditions that just a tweak in lifestyle could have extended their lives a little bit longer. Now, would it have made them live forever? No, because none of us are going to live forever, but there are some things that, could have been done that the result didn't have to be the way that it was while those women were so young. So Morgan and Vanessa put out a challenge to their friends. It was a 10-week challenge, which is where the framework comes from, the self-care school program that's going on now. So they put out a 10-week challenge before all the social media stuff. It wasn't just a blast out. They literally sent out emails to their friends and family. And after the 10 weeks, friends and family were like, okay, so what are we doing after this? Like, this was good. This was fun. And what are we doing after this? And so they started Girl Trek. That's basically how Girl Trek started. But then they brought in more professionals and they got more research, surrounding what walking can do, for your health and what are different, other things that you can do to improve your health. Now we moved from when they started in the beginning. I've been with Girl Trek since 2012. And so I came in like a year, maybe a little bit more than a year after Girl Trek had started. But now we have moved from those two women. It was just two women, the voices you just heard on the podcast, two of them, and we're over 1 million Black women strong now in that time. So you talking, a little bit over 10 years, maybe a little close to 15 years. We got over 1 million women, that are out walking to save our lives, not their lives. We're out walking to save our lives. And we're using that 30-minute guide because it has been researched. It has been shown that just 30 minutes a day. Now, brisk walking is the key. If you're not at a brisk pace, don't stress, just get out and move. You heard Morgan when she said, okay, it's time to turn around, just walk 15 minutes away from your front door, 15 minutes back. If you're not in a walkable community and you have to go to another space, then that's what you would do because we want you to be safe as well. But the goal is for your walking to be as convenient as possible. So you don't have to drive 2 hours away or 3 hours away unless you choose to. Now, if you choose to because you have certain spaces, hey Luke, how are you? Certain spaces where you want to go and walk, because I do that. I'll drive and go to a space because I like waterfalls. So I go to a lot of places that have waterfalls or lakes, something like that. And I'm okay with that. But there are some times, like during the week, more than likely, I'm just walking right out the front door, walking down the block, walking back, to get that time in, to make sure that I get it in. And then anything after that is going to be a plus. So that's the encouragement for you to get out and walk at least 5 days a week. You can walk 7 days a week. The harm, what harm would it do? More than likely is not going to harm you. If you do, so like for me, during the week, those walks are just straight up business, straight up focus. It's like working a job Monday through Friday. When I get out and do those walks during the week, I have a mission in mind. I have a goal in mind. I have a pace in mind. Like I'm focused on getting that done. The weekends, I'll go longer than those 30 minutes because they're more leisurely. So I'm more or less doing a hike. I'm going on, a nature walk or something like that. So I'm hanging out in the park or walking along the lakefront or something like that. I'm taking my time, on the weekends. So there are some weeks, and in fact, most weeks, I actually walk 7 days a week. But it's a little different from the way that I approach it. That Arella, how are you? It's different the way that I approach it. So my Monday through Friday walks are straight up, like strictly business when I do those walks. So I hope you all were taking notes during the conversation because they covered 2 life-saving skills. One was how to know if you're having a heart attack or stroke, how to recognize that. And skill 2 was knowing your heart rate and knowing how to take your heart rate. So I hope you all took some notes. And do you know what a stroke is? So if you know what a stroke is, without the Googles or whatever platform that you use to look it up, just right off the dome. Ain't that what they say? Right off the dome. Put it down in the chat if you know what a stroke is, just in layman's terms. You don't have to have no medical terms. Just write that in there. What is a stroke? Do you know what a stroke is? See what we got. Do you know what it is? Could you describe it? Hey, Alex, how are you? Could you describe what a stroke is? If you had to do it like in one sentence. If you can do it in one sentence, a few words. Were you there for that part? Or do you not know that? And it's not about judgment. What self-care school is an actual school. It's a school to help you to learn these life-saving skills. Because a lot of us just don't know. A lot of us have either had them or had someone close to us to have them and did not know what was going on. So that's the purpose of self-care school, is to make sure that we're learning these skills to either save our lives or the lives of our loved ones, so that we can be informed and be able to recognize what that looks like. Like, would you actually be able to recognize if someone were having a stroke? Can I say that? Okay, I gotta say, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is for entertainment purposes only. I don't know. On the top, it's so many rules that are out now. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be saying, but I hope they don't flag me. So if I get kicked off, y'all, come on over to the tube. Come on over to the tube, and I can still go on the tube. And then on the tube, you all have been doing very, very well. So I must congratulate you on doing very well. So you think when you're losing blood, that's it. Bingo. Miss Bread 7. Okay, so tubers, and talkers. Ms. Bread 7 says, so you can take the think out. You got it. When you're losing the blood supply to your brain. So when that flow either slows down or ceases, that's going into a stroke. So what about FAST? The acronym they gave, the FAST. What is the FAST? If you or someone else were having a stroke, what are those things? It's fast for one, because the T in fast is, all of it is important, but fast. Do we know what that is? Could you recognize in yourself? Could you recognize in somebody else? So that was skill number 1. So remember, each podcast, you're going to learn 2 life-saving skills, meaning you're getting 10 per week. And over the 10-week course, you will have 100 life-saving skills by the end of Self-Care School. So I say plug in. Remember, it is myselfcareschool.org. Even if you don't join the Girl Trek movement, which I hope you do, but even if you don't, you can still join myselfcareschool.org, because this is for us. This is for us to be able to do like what we're doing in the self-care suite. We're sharing those self-care strategies that don't have to break the bank. Like the goal is for you to be able to have these things to build up your self-care arsenal, your self-care toolbox, your self-care treasure chest, self-care backpack, whatever you identify it as. We want you to have as many tools in it as possible, which is why I brought Self-Care School to the Self-Care Suite. I didn't think about it in the very beginning, and I do apologize. That's on me. That's my bad. That's on me. I didn't think about bringing it in when we started Self-Care School, but we're here now. We in it. But I do encourage you to go back to week 0, because that sets the stage. So what we just listened to was day 1 of week 1. And so I'm going to let you all finish out, the rest of it, 30 minutes a day. Or like with me, well, one, I had an injury a couple weeks ago, and so I wasn't able to really get out the way that I wanted to. And then I went traveling, and so I had to do two a day to catch up. So I did that to catch up on some of my podcasts, which was fine, with me. I didn't mind doing it, but we want you to take care of yourself. So the FAST. So I was taking notes. F is if your face is drooping. So if your face is looking different or your face is starting to droop, that's the F. And this is recognizing signs or symptoms of a stroke. The A is arm weakness. So if the arm is weak or you're losing feeling in the arm, that's the A. S is speech. The speech is slurred or jumbled. So we got FAST. And the T is time, because it is crucial that you contact some form of emergency service so that you or the person could get some help. So that's FAST. So it is face, arm, speech, and time. So that's recognizing a stroke. That was skill 1 in Self-Care School. So we got that. And Ms. Bread 7 already put it in there, is when you're losing the blood supply to your brain. That's, in layman's terms, what's happening. And I always call 911 again. This is for entertainment purposes. But we're serious about this entertainment if you get it. If you know what I mean. Hey, Jasmine, let us know where you all are joining in from. Okay, so what are some of the things that you can do? So that was also a part of skill 1, some of the things that you can do if that's happening in real time, either for you or for someone else. Because sometimes people will, end up suffering, a stroke and not having those basic skills or things that they could do while they're at home to help either slow down the process or at least stay conscious enough until 911 arrives. But if you're recognizing those symptoms and they're coming because they're moving fast, so they're moving that fast, you call 911 and try and maintain, consciousness, because there's some other things that you can do. So chew on an aspirin to thin the blood. That was when Renata came in. Renata came in with those skills, and those are things that could happen. I'm not saying do this, because again, I can't give out that advice. I'm not a medical doctor. Make sure you always seek professional medical advice, even on a regular basis. Just make sure you get your annual checkups. But I can't, say that this is what is exactly going to help, but it could definitely help you. So chewing on an aspirin, try and rest and not panic about it, which is, that's really an oxymoron. Like all this stuff is happening to me, and now you want me to calm down. But sometimes you can calm yourself down just by breathing. That's what we practice too, our mindful breathing. Sometimes you can bring yourself down with that breathing to slow your mind down as well. Because if you're concentrating on the mindful breath work, your brain has to slow down enough to connect your body to the breathing. So that does give you an opportunity to think a little bit more clearly, even though, it is a life or situation, if somebody's having a stroke. Loosen your clothing. Loosen your clothing. If you have on like a lot of layers or something, loosen your clothing, and then cough strongly. Cough the hardest that you can cough. Hey, blue collar scholar, how are you? Cough as strong as you possibly can, because that activates the blood in your body. That forceful coughing activates blood in your body. So those are some things that you can do. Morgan also mentioned getting CPR certified. You can get, thank you so much for getting your heart me, getting CPR certified. Now, it's not for everyone to perform CPR, because depending on where you are, thank you so much for being a title gifter. Because depending on where you are and how you operate under pressure, you could actually end up doing more damage, to a person. So you got to be mindful about that. But to have those skills for yourself, to have those skills, for your family, that's a little different. If you just want to have the knowledge, it's just good. I think it's just good to have life-saving skills, just so that you'll know. You never know what kind of situation that you can end up in. And I don't know if those laws still exist. There used to be a Good Samaritan, I think it's called the Good Samaritan law. This is like, almost 40 years ago. There was a law that if you're acting as a Good Samaritan and you do more damage to the person in your actions, then you could be held legally liable for whatever happens with that person. So I don't know if that law is still in existence. So for me, that was my hesitation. That was my hesitation in the beginning. Years ago, I was, in my early 20s, but yeah, it was a long time ago. But yeah, I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna pass on that. I don't want to do that, because you're responsible, but you are responsible for somebody else's life when it comes to that. But knowing those skills and having those skills and practicing those skills, whether it's just reviewing your information and just like mock practicing, that still puts you in a better position, again, to either save your own life or to save, a loved one's life, or it can be someone that you don't even know. But it's just good to have those skills. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the gifts. What else? Oh, skill 2. Your maximum heart rate. What's your maximum heart rate? Who remembers that number? This was skill number 2. Number 1 was how to recognize signs and symptoms of having a stroke. And number 2 is your maximum heart rate. How do you get your maximum heart rate? That's what Morgan gave us that calculation. How do you get your maximum heart rate? And why is it called the maximum heart rate? That's just a bonus. That's a bonus. Why is it called the maximum heart rate? So they didn't say that in self-care school, but I'm asking the question because there's a reason why. It's called the maximum heart rate. So do you know the reason, or do you know how to calculate your maximum heart rate? Because that is a number that you should keep your eye on. Oh, and if you wear devices, if you do the wearable devices, learning those things manually is still a good skill, because what if your clock is clocking out, right? If your clock is clocking out, then how will you be able to know what's going on with your body? So with you don't know how. Okay, so your maximum heart rate is 220 minus your age. So if you have a calculator, or if you're good at math, I'm gonna use a calculator, but if maybe the fastest should be, yes, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. The fastest that it should be pumping, your heart shouldn't pump faster than that, because then it puts you in a space of malfunctioning. So you don't want it to go, that far, and then it's a little harder to bring your heart rate down. So like when you exercise and you do your warm up, you do the work, and then you do the cool down. If you just left and your heart rate was up towards your max and you just walked away, because that has happened to people. You just walked away. Hey, Dr. Tammy, how are you doing? And you just walked away, and your heart rate crashes without you bringing it down. It could be, damaging. It can be damaging to your heart. So yeah, that's exactly it is. That's exactly what it is. So the talk test. So the talk test, when you're walking or when you're running, goes in levels. So if you're able to walk and talk like with a slight pant, you're building up. That's in your warm-up phase. If you have to breathe in between each word, or each sentence, you're in that aerobic space where you're in the high fat burning zone. But if you're not able to talk, you're barely able to see, you're starting to get dizzy, you're moving past your max heart rate, and you want to slow down on your walking. So that's what we're going to look at. So that's called the talk test. Like, how well can you talk while you're engaging in this particular case, we're talking about walking or running, but it's any physical activity. The talk test is what you want to use if you don't have a device. Remember, everybody don't have those devices. Everybody don't want to use those devices. So make sure you have these practical skills. That's what we do in here. We're going to make sure we got practical skills that you can use if you don't have devices, if you don't have the financial means. These are things you still can practice without a penny. And to get your heart rate, she did the wrist, and she did the carotid artery, right? So to get your pulse, to get your heart rate, you can do either one, taking the index finger and the middle finger, and you will find the space where you can feel the artery that is pumping. You're going to do this for 15 seconds, whether you're doing the radial, the wrist is a radial pulse, and the one by your neck is the carotid pulse. And you count the number of breaths right after you've reached that high level. So after you've been moving, so we did the recess and we walked to the African drums, and so our heart rate was a little bit up. And then you said, hello, hey, Abu, how are you? Oh, you're talking to Haley. All right. So when you're moving and you're in an active state, when you want to take that pause, take your pulse, and that way you can see, have I reached my max heart rate? Because if I don't have on a monitor, how will I know? You do it for 15 seconds and then multiply that by 4, because you want to know in a minute's time how fast your heart is beating. Yeah. Two skills in 30 minutes, 2 life-saving skills. One is how to recognize if you're having a stroke or a heart attack. Included in that, recognize. Oh, we didn't go over the heart attack. Wait. I got to go back. Heart attack for women. She gave us the one for women. It's a little different for women or men. You're having the radiating pain that's going around your back and it's tight where your bra strap would be. So that's where the pain will be radiating. So it may not necessarily be where your heart is. It could be radiating in your back. Your chest could be tight. You could have pain or tightness in your jaw or in your arms, and shortness of breath. Those are some symptoms that may not initially be recognized as a part of cardiac arrest. Can I say that? I think I can say those words. Don't flag me, y'all. I'm trying to help the people. Don't flag me. But cardiac arrest, if you're moving into that space of cardiac arrest. So that was those two, heart attack and stroke. So, and that skill was fast, calling 911, chewing aspirin to thin the blood, resting, loosening your clothing, and coughing strongly. The strongest cough that you can muster up to get out, because that activates the blood. It makes the blood move throughout your body. So the strongest cough that you can manage. And skill number 2 is knowing your heart rate, how to take your heart rate, and the talk test. Listen, we cover some skills. And then the solidarity spotlight on the company, the name of the company was Black and Green Products. That was the name of the company. And they make non-toxic. So you need a job, you have become poor. Oh, we're not hiring. I'm not sure. Okay, so Abu, you may be able to just go online and look for like some temporary job services. So yeah, we're not offering that right now, in the self-care suite. So we're talking about recognizing signs and symptoms of stroke or heart attack, whether it's with you or with someone else, and then those life-saving skills to manage for you to get through the situation that's happening at hand. So the name of that company was Black and Green Non-Toxic Products. And they have products, from my understanding, I just heard of them. So from my understanding, from hair care to skin care to home care. So check them out. Black and Green Products is the name of the company. So I think we learned a lot today in self-care school. I appreciate the skills that they shared with us. Again, if you're just joining, I am Coach Robin Renee. I am your hostess here in the Self-Care Suite. We meet here on Sundays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, and this is where we come to relax, to kick off our feet, and to discuss the many ways to wellness. We share sustainable, useful, low cost or no cost self-care strategies, because financial challenges should not prevent us from investing in our wellness account on a daily basis. There should be something we can do to take care of ourselves on a daily basis that won't cost us sometimes anything, that's what we want. That's the goal, to be able to actually do life-saving self-care strategies. And a lot of times we people just need ideas. Like, I don't really have a lot of ideas of what I can do, to take care of myself. So self-care comes in a lot of forms. That's why we have these conversations here. There are many ways to wellness. It's not just, hitting up a spa, or going on a vacation, because what if the dollars ain't talking like that? If the dollar's not talking like that, you may have to just build something at home. There are some spaces that you can build, and we're actually going to have someone, I'm so excited, a guest on here that's building a home oasis. So she's working on that all summer. For the summer. She's been working since the spring, and she's coming up on the final stretch. So we get a chance to see her project, her passion project, come to fruition. So we are going to actually do some of the self-care suite conversations from her home oasis, and I'm excited. And so sometimes, we can even share ideas as to how you can build a space in your home that becomes your self-care sanctuary. That's how this particular room got its name, the self-care suite. I had a pandemic project, like most of us. I'm a Pilates teacher, and when we got shut down in 2020, we had to pivot. So I had to go online. So my initial virtual studio, home studio, was in my basement. So it was in my basement, no windows. It was cute. It was cute because it worked for what I needed it to work for. I needed to just make sure, I had my, my camera was able to be set up. I was able to fit my reformer, my mats, whatever it was I'm doing in order to teach my class. It worked. And it just really didn't even dawn on me until this year. Now, this is really wild. Didn't dawn on me like, okay, we got this room that we're not doing a lot with. So, how about I just, switch that over? And so that's how we ended up moving into a new space. And so I'm here, so I'm here in a new space. And so this is a sanctuary for me. It is a sanctuary. It is a space where I come, whether I'm teaching, whether I'm, having private conversations, whether I'm resting, whether, I'm just chilling, I can come in here and read. Like, there are different things that I can do. They don't all have to be just me only teaching. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of just finding a space. There are also mobile sanctuaries or mobile self-care, whatever you want to name it. Mine is a self-care suite, but your mobile self-care toolbox, treasure chest, backpack, arsenal, whatever you call it, we can take those things on the road with us. I keep travel size things for most of the things that I have. I got it in the travel size too. So I can even my equipment, because I travel, when I teach, but I have some that I can actually take on the plane. So if I'm going somewhere else and I have to teach there, I bring my own equipment, but I got travel size. So and it's been built up through the years. So I have travel size stuff. Or if I'm traveling and I just want to chill, right? Whether I'm teaching or not, I got the stuff that I need, and it's small, it's miniature, but I'm able to take it with me. And so I don't feel like when I go somewhere, if there was something I wanted to do that I would typically do, I got it with me. So we're talking about building these things over time, if they cost. But if I don't have anything, I got my breath, right? I'm able to breathe. I have my body right now. I still have mobility, so I'm able to move around. So those are two different situations. One, I got actual physical items that I can use to enhance my self-care. But then also I have my internal resources, which is just what I was born with. I have my internal resources to be able to utilize in order to invest in my self-care. So that's what we're talking about here. Internal and external resources. What can we use? What can we do? And we want to share. I don't always want to come in the capacity of where I'm teaching and I'm telling people what to do, because what works for me may not work for you. So you may not like hanging in the woods. I like it. Some people, are not going in the woods. They just not. I don't care what you say, what you do, how you present it to them. They're not going in the woods. But I am. I'm going by myself. Okay. Puzzle. Come on. Okay, these puzzles be doing too much. Are we in? We're in. Oh, wait a minute. I know how to drag a puzzle piece. There we go. We're in. So that's why we want to come in and share with one another, because you may not necessarily like what I do. I like taking long bike rides. I'm not a street bike rider. Now, I know people who love riding their bikes, but they be doing, in my opinion, is dangerous, right? So I'm not doing that part. I did it before, but child, that was an experience, And an experience that I did, and I just have absolutely no desire to do that again. Now, there's no other way for me to get around to wherever it is I'm going, and that's the mode of transit. I mean, it got to be some serious parameters around there, but just for enjoyment, yeah, no, you can keep that. You can keep that's why I draw the line. Just like people who ain't going in the woods, when I just walk on in the woods, you know. And some people like, yeah, this where we part ways, ma'am. Me on a bike, riding past somebody's house, riding across the stoplight, that is not me. That is not me. You can have that, but I can ride my bike for hours. I can ride my bike for miles, but I'm gonna be on a trail. That's what I enjoy. So that's what I mean by I can suggest some things, or I can share with you some things that I do, but if it's not resonating with you, then that's not what you should be doing. So we want to share with one another, different things. And, maybe somebody may want to go out and try something. Like there are some people who are not interested in getting on the water. I'll get on the water. That's something, that I'll do. I'll get on the water. Now, am I diving in Chicago River? No, I like watch people. I've been on the river, so yeah, I'm not gonna talk bad about that because that's one of the beauties of the city is the river. But baby, I've been a resident of Chicago a long time, and yeah, I don't want to play in the river. There's some things up in there. You might be glowing when you come about that river. Like St. Patrick's Day, they don't really need that dye to turn that river green. They don't. There's enough stuff in there that can turn that river green. So for me, I can do some things. But more enjoyment will come from me going around the corner and hitting Lake Michigan, right? Take me over to the lake, because that river, no, I'll pass. But I've been down there. Kayaking. I've been on, the architectural tours. So I've been on there before, but that's just what I mean. Like everything is not for everyone. So we do want to come here and to use this space. And this is something that I decided to do at the beginning of the year. And we're halfway through. I am so surprised. I shouldn't say that, because when I commit to something, I do it. But it's interesting. So this is my first time sharing my Sundays. So this year is my first time. So Sundays are my chill days, are my wind down days. I'm usually hanging in my hammock and, just chilling. Like I'm not trying to do much of anything on Sunday. If I decide to read, I'm going to read. If I'm going to nap, because baby, the nap's in the hammock. But it's been cold. I haven't been able to go out in the hammock. But yeah, just being in the hammock, that's my speed. That is my speed. Hanging, reading my book, drinking my limeade, drinking my water, minding my business. That's joyful for me. That's something exciting. Some other people, they may be like, that's so boring. You just laying there in the hammock. Yep. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna turn around. I may switch sides that I'm in, but that's something that I enjoy, is being in my hammock. So when I decided to open up this space, or to open up my self-care time to my talkers and my tubers, I'm like, let's see where we'll take this. What I want to provide in this space, my goal is to have a time and to have a space and to have information available for whoever would need it, who may not normally take that time out in the day. So if oh no, Sunday, I got to get to the self-care suite. At least I can go there and I can chill. Or at least I can go there and I can get some ideas of how to chill during the week. We have people who share on here different things that they do in their car. Because some people, they live in a house or in an apartment, but they live in the car. But that's some of the best. Oh my God, that's some of the best heat in the car though in the winter. I'm just saying, sitting in the car or listening to music. It's just being, engulfed, in the car. Just being in the car, that whole surround sound feeling and all that. So there are some things that you want to do in the car, and that's self-care, to some people. And so we've had people to share that. Like I said, some people like naps, some people like walking, some people like swimming, some people like I'm not sure. Hey Haley, can you repeat your comment, Haley? Because I don't know if they filtered it out. I don't know if they filtered it out. Some people like knitting, some people like sewing, crocheting, crafting. There are all sorts of things that you can do to invest in your self-care, that it doesn't have to put you so far out or stress you out. Now, if your self-care that's Abu. Okay. If your self-care, you trying to practice self-care, stresses you out, pause. Take some deep breaths, practice some mindful breathing, and slow down. You're going to pause, you're going to slow down and reroute, take a pivot. Start one, like Bobby Brown say, every little step you take. So every little step you take along your wellness journey is an investment. It's an investment in your wellness account. And investments are things you're doing for the long haul. Otherwise, you just gambling. I'm just saying. Can I say that word? I don't know. I don't know if I can say that word. Yeah. So you got to think about that. When you're making an investment, you have a long range goal in mind. You trying to, you're trying to beat the numbers. You trying to do, and we know the house be winning on that anyway. But so you got to look at it like that. When you look at your wellness and you look at your self-care investment, and that's why I call it that, because it is your self-care account. You're going to invest in it because it's for the long haul. Now, does that mean that if you decided, for example, that you're going to start walking and then you decided you're going to walk for an entire year? Okay, I'm going to do these 30 minutes a day for an entire year and it's just not working out. Maybe running is your thing, right? Maybe bike riding is your thing. It doesn't mean you can't pivot and pick up another self-care strategy. You can, but think about the building that toolbox or building that arsenal that you're going to be able to take yourself a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further each day. So you can certainly pivot. You can even repurpose, like everything is content and everything can be repurposed. You can repurpose your self-care. What did you used to do that just brought you so much joy? A lot of times we forget about the things that we did when we were younger. Like, what did you do to just chill out, And especially if you went through the, having children and, raising children, and then when they are gone, you're a little bit lost. Like, what? You were happy. You were so looking forward to being an empty nester. And then when they leave, you keep calling them, telling them, what you doing? You calling your kid, your young adult children, like, what you doing? But you were so antsy to get them out and move them on their own. And then when they're gone, you kind of stuck. So that's what we want to do. We want to be able to have something that we pull back and we say, okay, well, I did what I was supposed to do with this particular journey, in my life. And now I'm ready to move in to invest more into myself. So we're looking at investments. It's not just doing something. We're not just doing anything. We are investing in our wellness accounts. And that episode from the self-care school was really, really good. So those are the first two skills. It's myselfcareschool.org. So make sure you go there, because when we come back next Sunday, I'm just going to do the first day of week 2. So I think that's going to work out better for us, so we can just really get into the skills. If we revisit something along the way, throughout the year, we can totally do that. But I'm thinking I'm just going to take that pivot too, because Girl Trek is always on something when it comes to self-care. And I just want us to be ready for the summertime. I don't want to feel like we're just too far behind, but it is 10 weeks. The whole thing is 10 weeks. Do the entire 10 weeks. Now that I am going to highly recommend. Don't miss, because self-care school was designed to be built from week 0 through week 10. So go back and listen to orientation. Even if, let's just say this, even if you went back and you were listening, like on your way, I don't know if you work outside of the home or you're taking your children to school or whatever, or if you want to get out and walk, you don't have to stop at the 30 minutes. You can actually double up. I had to double up 1 week so I can catch up, because I had an injury, so I couldn't do too much and be outside. So I doubled up, on the next week, and I caught up. So you can also do that, but make sure you listen to every episode. While you're doing laundry. I mean, do people still wash the dishes on there? I still hand wash dishes. I'm not doing dishwasher, but whatever you're doing, if you're doing housework, yard work, you can still listen to the episodes, but be sure to do them in the order that they recommend, which is from week 0 through week 10. And be mindful that Juneteenth is the celebration, because that'll be the end of when self-care school first started. You're not behind. I just thought about it a couple of weeks ago to bring it to the self-care suite, because it's such good information. And that's what I was thinking, like, I'm out here listening to this. Why didn't I think to bring this to the self-care suite? So I apologize again. I apologize. That one is totally on me, that I just didn't think about it in the beginning when self-care school first started. But we're here now. We're here now. We're here now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So do we have any questions? Because we can wrap this thing up. Do we have any questions, any comments, any ideas, any self-care strategies that you want to share, any that you gained, from today? And you got the 2 life-saving skills. The first, how to recognize a heart attack or stroke. And the second, how to take your heart rate and know what your maximum heart rate is. So those were two. At the end of self-care school, you're going to have 100 life-saving skills, and they get better, y'all. I mean, if you knew the self-care school, they get better and better, or betterer and betterer. They get really, really good, really, really good. And it's just going to build up on to week 10. And you can always go back. You can always go back because it's about self-care. And I mean, who perfects it? Who has perfected self-care? I don't know. I haven't. I'm still living. And each time I live, because the longer you live, your needs change. So hey, Bithy, how are you? Your needs change. The longer you live, your needs change. So you don't have the same needs at 60 that you had at 16. So that self-care is going to be ongoing. So whatever movement modalities, thank you so much for liking the live. Whatever movement modalities that you enjoy, do those things. Whether it's jumping rope, whether it's hula hooping, whether it's bike riding. Hey, WG, how are you? Thank you for the heart me. Whether it's swimming, hopscotch. Do anybody still play hopscotch? I don't know. Do the kids play hopscotch? I don't know if they play hopscotch. I don't know. But don't any kind of thing, volleyball, basketball, baseball, whatever things that you like moving. We didn't look at it as exercise when we were younger, but that's exactly what it was. And we actually had fun with it. So if you had something that you used to love to do, go back, pick it up, go back and pick it up again. But be careful, be mindful, consult your medical professional before you jump out there, literally. Thank you so much for the gift. Before you literally jump out there into something else, always consult your healthcare professional first, even if you have an idea of something that you want to try. I'll also say this. Sometimes we go on vacations and people want to go on these different excursions. Just be mindful of your reality. I'll put it that way. Be mindful of your reality and where your body is in this present state. And I know when adrenaline gets to going and the group wants to do certain things, and you don't want to put yourself in a situation where your trip ends up being cut short, or you're not able to really enjoy it because you decided. Thank you so much for the gift. So because you wanted to enjoy it on another level. So just be mindful, just be careful. Definitely. Woo! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Be careful with that and go outside and get you some fresh air, get you some, like some natural vitamin D, on your skin, some oxygen, go in green spaces, blue spaces. Whenever I have an opportunity to get in the blue space, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. And blue spaces are bodies of water. They just kind of couple them in. So even if it's like a lake or a pond, it can kind of be coupled in with a blue space, but that's what blue spaces are. And it has been proven, it has been shown that blue spaces, have actual positive biological impacts on your body. So from lowering your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure, relaxing anxiety, clearing your mind. So I'm going to some blue spaces whenever I can get into a blue space. I like green spaces too, because we need that oxygen, child. We need that oxygen. Green spaces would be your parks, forests, and mountains, like that kind of, because you typically have to get through some form of green space to get up to a mountain. There are some that don't have some greenery, but most of them have some greenery on the bottom, and then you make your way up to the mountains. But so it's like wet and dry spaces. But I mean, I like them both. I'll do them both. I like being outside. I'm outside, and I had to make a clarification with that. I ain't know, like, outside wasn't the same outside I was talking about. So I ain't outside like that outside. I'm outside because I'm like outside, playing outside. So there's a difference. I ain't outside like that. But yeah, I'm going to go outside. And, when the temperatures are up. Now, when it's cold, that's a whole nother ministry. It is a whole other ministry. And each year I have a birthday. I'm telling you, it gets worse for me when the temperatures drop below 60 degrees. It's just like, I think, I come from a whole nother dimension. Cold, but I will go out in the cold. If I know I need to get out and just to get some kind of daylight, because when we get into the colder months, like the gripping up. Oh, I'm not sure what that's all about. When we get to the colder months, when it's darker in the morning and darker in the evening, when our days are a whole lot shorter, it affects you. It impacts you because your body is going into a space of sleep. Not that you're falling asleep, but your body is not absorbing as much as it would in those lighter hours when the days get longer. So I'll go out. But if it's like snowing or something outside, if I can see the sun, I have hope. Like I really do. I really do have hope, even if it's cold. Even if I have to sit, if I have to sit in my car, I still go to blue spaces in the winter, even if the front part is frozen and I can see something, in the back. And it's just the idea of being in blue spaces. So we have Lake Michigan where we are. And when the lake starts to freeze over, you can see the snow. Sometimes you can still see, near the horizon, you can still see some waves, so that for me, that's still calming for me, especially if the sun is out. But when it's just dark, each year I have a birthday. I'm so grateful to have a birthday every year, but each year it's like, woo, this is getting rough to be in the dark, feeling like 24 hours a day because our days are cut so short. But whenever you can get outside, get into some blue space, get into some green space, get some fresh air in your lungs, get some sun on your skin, take advantage of it whenever you can, wherever you are. And especially if you get an opportunity to go, if you went away somewhere, if you went on a vacation, try to pull away. Try to pull away from those things that kept you bogged down or tied down at home. It's a little bit more difficult when you're at home because there's always something that you can do. But when you're away, you don't have that something that you have to do, like that physical thing that you have to do. So try your best to breathe and pause and pull away from those obligations so that you can take advantage of it. You don't want to come back from a vacation and then need a vacation from the vacation you just took, and you ain't got no more time. If you're working for someone and you have to, get your PTO days. Like you don't want to do that, burn up your vacation days, and then you're burned up by the time you leave from vacation, and then you need a vacation from the vacation. So pace yourself also when it comes to taking vacations. Now, I have a totally different perspective now than I did when I was younger. Now, when I was younger, oh, baby, we covering 25 things in a day. Nope, I'm in this city, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I don't do that anymore because one, the older you get, where my Gen Xers, my boomers, the older you get, the more you appreciate life. You're not trying to rush through that. If you went somewhere to see something or to be somewhere, you actually want to enjoy it. At least I do. I actually want to enjoy it. So I'm not trying to do 10 things in a day, but I promise you, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, we doing everything. We're doing everything in one day. And then we're going to repeat it again on day 2. We're going to repeat it again on day 3. But no, I actually like slowing down and I actually like enjoying what it is that I'm doing, wherever I'm going, because I want to be able to have the experience in real time and not looking back at the pictures. My vacations, I would be looking back at the pictures like, yeah, I remember doing that. I remember, but it was so many things I did in one day. Did I really enjoy it? I did. But do I enjoy it more now? I do. With the way that I operate now, if I'm going somewhere, it don't even have to be a vacation. If I'm just taking some time just to go somewhere and to enjoy something, just to literally enjoy the view. Like in your city, you can check your local parks. That will be the local level. You can check your county preserves. Ours are called the forest preserves. So I'm not sure what it's called there, but it's your nature spaces run by your county. That's another level that you can check into to see. A lot of times they have free programs, free wellness programs that people don't even know about. Because, your city money and your county money, your state money, all coming from, they got different checks. I'll just say that. Even if they're all coming from the government, they got different checks. So they have different programs at different levels. So you have your local parks, then you will have your county. It's not going to, well, I'm not going to say it's not. It may not be called a county park. It could be called a forest preserve or nature sanctuary or nature observatory. That may be that on the county level. Then you have your state parks. Now, some state parks have entrance fees, but they have free days. They have free days on the state park. So you can always look into your state park, find out what's happening, especially around different holidays. They have different hours and they have different activities. So you can go to a state park because we have some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful state parks in the Midwest. And yeah, I have some of them posted on my top. It's way more posted on my tube though. My Tales from the Trails, a whole lot on my tube channel. So if you all want to see the green spaces that I visit and that I show people, then yeah, you can go to my channel, my playlist and stuff on there. So you have local, you have county, you have state, and then you have your national parks. And national parks, same thing. They have different activities going on around different agendas, around different holidays, around different movements. You can get in free. So yeah, we be looking for the low cost and the no cost. You can get in free to the national parks on certain holidays. I know they have like National Park Week or something like that. You can get in, but then also, at least where we are in the Midwest, we have a national treasury. In fact, we got two national treasury. One is actually within the city of Chicago, and that is the Pullman National Monument. And then outside of Chicago, we have the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore. So at the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore, they have programs where you can bring a group, you volunteer, to bring a group to clean up the trails. So they give you your trash cans, your trash bags when you get there, and your hike, you're just picking up things along the trails. But here's some tea. And they say that clock to tea here, it don't be nothing on the trails. It's barely anything. You go out with this big trash bag, but I'm just saying you get a chance to enjoy the trail. But at the same time, you are helping them out as well, because a lot of them have volunteers for to man and manage the parks. But that's how you can get in free. Like, you can get in free. Just contact your national park in your area. I don't know if it's at the state park level, because I haven't tried it in the Midwest at our state park, but I know for sure our national park, which is the Indiana National Lakeshore. So if you're anywhere in the Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area, go to West Beach. If you go to West Beach, you can volunteer, but you need to bring a group. It's a legitimate group, not just some folks you can just throw in your car and tell me, yeah, we a group, we sing. Not like that. But, bring a legitimate group. So it can be from your community center. You maybe want to bring some seniors, because there are groups that go out, with seniors, that go out walking with seniors. You can bring some seniors with you, and they'll give you the trash bags, for you to go out on the trail. So the times that I've done it, now do the trails be, have litter on them? Other times, I don't know. But the times I've done it, I don't even know if we picked up 10 things. Like, the trails are not, but we help. Whatever small amount that we're doing is a big amount to them, because then that's staff that they don't have to pay. So that's one way that you can do. But it's West Beach where we are in the Indiana area. So if you want to go and do that, you can totally do that. They also have different shows, different nature shows. Some like show movies. They have fairs, like vendor fairs. So the Chicago Botanical Gardens, if you are north of the city, the Chicago Botanical Gardens, they have like markets, like farmers markets and vendor markets, which are really, really nice. I've seen the ones in the fall. I haven't been to the ones in the spring, but the ones in the fall are really, 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 really nice. So that's something you getting like a 2 for or a 3 for. You pay, you go in, but then you also are able to take advantage of whatever activities that they have going on during that time. So yeah, there's always ways to do things. And if you want to go away without having to go far away, those are some ways that you can do that. There are some ways you can do that. So yeah, so I am going to wind this party down. I do appreciate you all for joining. I appreciate all of the shares, all of the likes, and all of the gifts. If you're just joining, I am Coach Robin Renee, your hostess in the Self-Care Suite, where we meet Sundays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time to kick off our shoes, relax our feet, and discuss the many ways to wellness. We exchange useful, sustainable, low cost, or no cost self-care strategies, because financial challenges should not prevent us from investing into our wellness account on a daily basis. There should be something that we're able to do for ourselves every day to increase or enhance the investments that we're making into our self-care accounts. So yeah, this is where we are. And other than that, I am also a mindful movement guide through your Pilates journey. I'm a Pilates teacher, and I'm not live on the Tube, but I'm live on the Talk Mondays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you want to come and get your Pilates flow on, you're going to hit that gold star right there and come on and flow with us. So we do leave part of the class open in the beginning for people to come in and get some mindful breathing and to get some spinal flexibility work. And then we switch it over to a sub only live, and we continue our flow from there. And we are doing authentic Pilates, the way it was intended by this guy, Joseph Pilates. This is who created Pilates, and we are doing what he taught in his time, in his days. There we go. There we go. There we go. And it's authentic Pilates that we're doing here by Joseph Pilates. So if you want to come on down and see what all the Pilates chatter is about, come on down and flow with us. So thank you so much. If I don't have anything else, if I don't have anybody else making any comments, yeah, I'm gonna sign out. But I have enjoyed today's conversation in the self-care suite, as well as listening to Morgan and Vanessa with the self-care school. So remember to go to myselfcareschool.org, myselfcareschool.org, and sign up so that you can learn two life-saving skills each episode. There are 5 episodes in a week. So at the end of the week, you're going to have 10 life-saving skills, and multiply that by 10 over the 10 weeks of the self-care school semester. You will have 100 life-saving skills by the time self-care school is over. So yeah, how? myselfcareschool.org. In each episode, they're teaching 2 life-saving skills. So it's myselfcareschool.org, and it's free. It's free to join. It's free to join. And we're encouraging you to walk while you listen. But if you're not able to walk while you're listening, you can listen while you're doing other things, and then you can get out and walk, at another time. But it's actually a walking live podcast. So yeah, it's myselfcareschool.org. So if you all have not heard of it, the organization that's powering it is Girl Trek, GIRLTREK. So go to girltrek.org to learn about the organization, and myselfcareschool.org to learn about the program that we're doing right about now. But it's all about self-care. It's all about self-care, taking care of you. And on that note, I'm going to sign out. I am going to encourage you to go out and be greater than you were an hour and a half ago, and to remember to always take time to take care of you. Peace, y'all. Peace. I'm going to let my tubers out first, and then I'm going to let my talkers out.